Where did it go? We think of buildings as solid, permanent, enduring, but they aren't. Fire, wind, and water destroy them. Volcanoes bury them. Earthquakes shatter them. But from my viewpoint, the worst damage is caused by humans. Remodeling, alterations, and additions can destroy a building just as surely as a tornado. Houses are altered for many reasons. Their purpose may change, they may need upgrades in services or utilities, or the owner may decide they are old-fashioned. In this video, I want to explore old houses that have been changed beyond belief, or at least beyond recognition. The Andrew Fontish house at 1212 South 5th was originally built about 1890, but it's typical of a small house, especially for immigrants coming from Europe. Often no more than 12 by 16 feet, with 2 or 3 small rooms. The brickwork of the central chimney and the lathe-turned porch post provide the only decoration. The board sidewalk gave some protection from the horse manure and the dirt street. In this photo from about 2016, we see an enclosed front porch that's become another room, and a rear addition provides a new kitchen. But stucco and fake stone encase the house. Without the early photo, no one would ever know the history of this little house. It was demolished about 2016 and replaced with a larger house. The John Kellogg house from 1868 at 131 South 10th shows a marvelous porch on the west and south sides to give shade to this house, and its most decorative feature. A square bay window with classical square columns created variety in surface and decoration. Multiple windows beyond the bay window light the dining room, while a more narrow rear addition contained the kitchen. An older man, probably the owner, sits in the shadows on the shaded porch. This photo from 2010 shows the porch, the most distinctive feature of the house, has been removed, and the house has become a commonplace box. Porches are difficult to maintain, and in a cold, wet climate, they seldom last more than 20 years. But as we see here, they can be the most decisive feature. Just up the street at 413 South 10th was the Steinlein Loomis house from 1868. Square or rectangular shapes are the easiest to build with dimension lumber. This house has a formal entrance on the front and a family entrance to the left with a larger porch. The Italianate decoration is limited to a few brackets under the eaves, a double leaf front door, and turned columns on the 2 porches. Today, an addition on the right side and the enclosed porch on the left side have completely changed the original house. The wide siding adds nothing to the house and makes it even more blocky. The Isidore Schilling house at 935 Division was a common type of Midwestern house with a 2-story section and a 1-story kitchen, quite suitable for a middle-class family. The photo from about 1908 shows a stud frame building veneered with brick, with white limestone for trim around the windows, doors, and the water table that separates the stone wall basement from the brick veneer of the house. The porch has square Italianate columns with pendants and a balustrade above. The more simple kitchen porch shows that it is less important. By 1978, a front porch had been added and later enclosed. The kitchen porch has also been rebuilt and sided with clapboards to match the enclosed front porch. By 1910, the kitchen porch has become a part of the house and the entire building covered in wide siding. All of the original decoration is gone, and the red brick contrasting with the white limestone is completely covered. The original section of the root house at 920 King Street, the part at the rear, was probably built in the late 1850s, and the Gothic tower in the adjoining Italianate section was completed about 1869. The location was very attractive, and the house was moved in 1890 when a large Queen Anne house was built on the lot. This is the Spence house, built about 1890, and clearly shows the change in taste as the town grew and became prosperous. This image is a reminder of the original root house because it wasn't demolished. It was moved to Ferry Street and got a new front porch and a sleeping porch, but it lost all the top story of the tower and all the Italianate decoration was removed, but the octagonal tower shows its original shape. At 205 South 9th, the Peck House is a more elaborate version of the three-bay front with formal entrance and a porch and secondary family entrance on one side in the two-story bay on the left. The triangular pediment above the center front window and the circular window in the gable with entablature returns were features found in several lacrosse houses. This photo from about 1907, the main house remains unchanged, but a wraparound porch more common to the Queen Anne style has been added. This detail better shows the spindles and turned columns of the new porch. The photo from 2011 shows the lovely porch has been removed, the window shapes have been altered, a neoclassical front porch was added, and everything covered in rough shingles. Even the cornice returns have been shortened. Only the porthole window in the front gable remains unchanged. The 1870s were a decade of towers. At 238 South 10th, G.R. Montague built this house. Montague owned a candy factory and another factory for cakes and crackers. He had a two-story brick house built at 10th and Cass, where the town was growing to the east. The third level tower grows out of the house wall and is decorated with round arched windows, non-functional balconies, and a square tower cap with Second Empire dormer windows, and a finial finishes the tower. The square porch columns seem naked without a porch railing or any decoration. This photo from 2012 shows how the front porch has been enclosed on both levels and the tower is gone. A full second story has been added on the rear, with a small addition on the left side for a new stair to the second floor. Narrow siding covers everything. The Webb Withy house at 236 Cass was built in 1876 and is seen here in an engraving from 1881. It was one of the great towered mansions built in the 1870s in La Crosse. The tower has been shortened and a large screen porch added across the front in this later photo. Everything has been covered in stucco, probably in the early 1900s. At 722 Main, the T.J. Seymour house, built in 1892, shows late Queen Anne decoration. But today, only the decorative grille work on the third floor front gable shows its original form. The original front porch has been removed and a new, modern, two-story commercial building was built in front of the Seymour house, with a fake stone ground floor and a second floor of windows that screens the remainder of the front. The decorative screen of the old gable remains to hint at what once was. The Fred Ring house at 324 South 10th, built in 1883, shows decorations from the Queen Anne style, but the plan of the house is more typical of the Italianate houses with a three-bay front. The left side of the house has a bay window and wonderful gables with fan decorations. The front porch columns have unusual capitals that echo the gable fans. In this photo from 2011, most of the decorations remain, but the screened porch and the monotone dark green paint covers the details. In 2012, a new owner restored the exterior. The repainted front and removal of the screen porch restores this house to its former glory. The Fred Copeland house at 1004 Cass was built about 1890. Originally, the ground floor led the eye up to the next level, and the second level led to the dormers and tower. The distinctive three-story tower lost its upper story about 1900, when the large colonial revival porch was added. The tower base can still be seen behind the porch, but all of the decoration is gone. But now the porch cuts the house into two separate levels. It's not just old houses that get altered. The Emil Mueller house, 128 South 14th, was built in 1915. It was an excellent example of the side entrance prairie style type as designed by Percy Dwight Bentley and Otto Merman. Flat stucco covers the majority of the exterior walls, and the wall of the front flower bed echoes the house material. This photo from about 1980 unfortunately shows how a later owner tried to make the house conform to his idea of what a prairie style should be. While the basic shape of the house remains, the tile roof, the fake stone, the wide siding, and the linked chain downspouts were never part of the prairie style. The Cargill house at 1213 Cass was built in 1882. It was one of the largest houses ever constructed in La Crosse and one of the most expensive. It's a riot of bays, dormer windows, and towers, all emphasizing an upward direction. By 1904, it was considered very much out of date. But the location at Cass and West Avenue was the most prestigious corner in the city. The Cargills did not want to give up their location, but their 1882 house was much out of date. Removing the front tower entrance and adding a third story completely destroyed the upward sweep of forms. It was changed into a Baroque revival Italian palace. The changes in the house and the lack of maintenance in later years meant that the house could not be repurposed or preserved. Its demolition is considered by many people to be the greatest loss in the history of the community. But today, more and more of these old houses are being returned to their former beauty as people realize that newer isn't always better.